Welcome back to the show. Well, the death rate for female breast cancer has declined by 36% from peak rates back in 1989. This progress could not be possible without the many supporters, including the thousands that join the fight at the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer in Tucson every year.
To catch us up on the impact of last year's walk and what we are doing to make even more progress for the future, please welcome Kay Wolferstetter, Dennis Cornier, and two very familiar faces and voices, KGUN 9 anchor Stella Inger and Mrs. Grant from 94.9 Mix FM. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I was like all in.
It's a party.
Yeah,
wait for the others to talk.
Exactly. Well, let's start with last year's walk, and how much. I've been out to the walk. Just being there is really impactful. But let's talk a little bit more about what happened there.
Well, it seems like it was so long ago,
Yeah.
October, but it really wasn't. And the American Cancer Society has always been so appreciative of the Morning Blend, KGUN 9, Mix FM, and all the support that they've given to promote people to come to the event, to register as a team, to raise money. And we haven't done a good job coming back and saying, okay, what were the results? So we're really proud to talk about this past event. And we had over 3,000 people who registered, but we actually had closer to 10,000 people that showed up. So we get a lot of people who show up, who come with their family members who register, and they themselves don't register, but they came out to be a part of the event. And with their support, our flagship sponsors of Radiology Limited, Walmart, and Supercuts, and through your teams, we raised just shy of $260,000 for the American Cancer Society and the issue of breast cancer research and treatment and detection. And we wanted to be here today to personally say thank you to everyone and present you with an award and our plaque. And when sponsors receive a plaque, I mean, it's really nice, but we all know that an event like Making Strides Against Breast Cancer is about people. And first of all, you just have a fun, crazy team.
We do.
And your picture of your team is phenomenal. But then the picture of the people who are participating, there is a story behind every person that's participating in the walk. And you know that so well. And that's what's important about this event. And I think that's why all your stations are so involved with this, because it's very personal. It's about people. It's about a disease that we're making progress, but we still have a long way to go. So we're very honored and appreciative of all you've done, and we'll be presenting this to you, and hope you will add it to your others that you have along the walls.
Yep.
And again, we can't thank you enough.
Oh, Dennis, we display these proudly here.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely. And what does it really mean? Stella, Mrs. Grant, obviously you're a big part of this, and what does it really mean when you're presented with something like this?
Well, I just want to say that breast cancer does not discriminate. It could happen to anyone. It has happened. We know somebody who's been affected by breast cancer. For me, it was my best friend's mom. She was diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer, and she didn't make it. She didn't survive. And so for me, it's so important to continue the fight, to continue bringing awareness, because like inflammatory breast cancer, it's so rare. And the story is, it's a little crazy, because the reason she found out about it is because I've always been involved with the American Cancer Society. I did a story about it. And then fast forward 2 years later, she gets this bump on her breast, and I'm like, watch my YouTube link. She ends up watching it. Sure enough, she's diagnosed with inflammatory breast cancer. So, I feel like all of us have been touched by it some way.
And Mrs. Grant, I know that you have also a personal story as to why you were so involved.
Oh yeah, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2001. It was a month after I'd had my son, and I had a 4-year-old at home, and you want to be there for somebody when that kind of thing happens. And when you're that busy and you're doing everything that you possibly can to help them, and then you learn of the American Cancer Society and all the free programs that they offer and the help that they offer, and the fact that she used to talk about being up at 2 o'clock in the morning and having somebody she could talk to on the phone who had been through it. This is my payback, and I will pay it back every day of the rest of my life, because it's so important to me that I still have my mom 14 years later, because she was able to overcome that. She has some health problems. She hasn't been able to make it to the walk, but I will go and I will participate in this because I believe in what it is they do.
Well, and that
So
shows
important.
and it means so much, I'm sure, to both of you to have two very familiar faces in this community that want to stand up and talk about this important issue, and it means so much to them. Now, Kay, I want to talk to you quickly before we run out of time. I know that the American Cancer Society also deals with legislative issues, so talk about that a bit.
Sure. And so a lot of people don't know that we actually have an arm that is an advocacy arm. It's called the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. And I want to make sure I let everybody know that on February 2nd at our Capitol, the American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network is hosting a sort of lobby day. It's a chance for us to get to know our legislators and talk about cancer as being a priority. Right now, we have an initiative that we're bringing to the table, and it's really about skin cancer prevention. And there's actually a bill that we're actually really helping to bring to the table. It's actually HB 2516. And it is talking about trying to not allow anybody under the age of 18 to use indoor tanning beds. And why do you think that is? Well, I'll tell you why. Is that people who have tanned indoors have a 59% chance of actually getting melanoma. And melanoma is not only just skin cancer, it's an awful disease. Again, we really want to continue to bring cancer stories to the table, to our legislators, because they're the ones who make the decisions. And last year we had over 100 people attend that event. We actually have a luncheon. It's more informal. We actually get to talk with each of our legislators. And it's really quite powerful. And we actually also, because it's a grassroots movement, and I'm a volunteer on that end, and I'm a staff person with the American Cancer Society, but I put as much time in as an advocate on the back end, because I think we need fundraising, which we do very well, I feel, but we also need to be willing to change policy. And again, it's a great opportunity. We'd love to see you there. It'd be awesome.
Definitely. Well, I can't thank all four of you enough for taking the time to come on the show and to speak with us. I know you two are so busy, but what an important thing this is that we're doing. So
Absolutely.
thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank
you.
you.
And I'm
for
going to make
having
sure our
us.
viewers have all the information to get involved.
Great. Thank you.
Now, to learn more and get involved, just call 1-800-227-2345 or visit cancer.org.